I've stepped into that kitchen before, the one that looks like you just stepped straight into a magazine shoot. Everything about it stopped you in your tracks. The cabinets, warm, earthy tones, rich, inviting, timeless. The lines were clean and intentional. You could tell every detail had been thought through. The hardware was perfect. Subtle, but it tied everything together in a way that elevated the entire design without overpowering it. Nothing screamed attention, but everything deserved it. It wasn't just a kitchen, it was an experience, until you actually had a chance to live the experience. Because once you walked around the Grand Island, quickly noticed there was not much room to pass anybody else. It felt tight, congested, and you immediately thought, what if I was hosting a party? What if a couple of us were preparing food for a holiday dinner? All the beauty became irrelevant when there was no function. And I wondered, did they design this for this magazine, or did they do the design for this lifestyle? The question is the difference between a kitchen you show off and a kitchen you actually want to live in. I'm Brian Nowakowski and I own Canton Kitchens. We design kitchens and custom cabinetry across the Mid-Atlantic, Delaware, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and beaches. And after years of watching homeowners make expensive mistakes that could have been prevented, I wanted to give you the tools to protect yourself before you commit to anyone. Today, I'm walking you through the 3 red flags that tell you a designer is focused on their portfolio rather than your daily life, and the green flags that tell you you found the right partner. Red flag number 1. They never asked how you actually will use the kitchen. If your designer's asking what color cabinets you want before they ask how you cook, you're already in trouble. Let me take you back to that kitchen. It had every aesthetic detail right. Warm, earthy tones, clean lines, perfect hardware. But the designer never asked the homeowner if she hosted for the holidays. Never asked if multiple people would be cooking at once. Never asked if this kitchen was her sanctuary or her gathering place. The result was an island so large there wasn't enough aisle space to pass someone. A kitchen designed for one person to admire, not for a family to actually use. Here's what I would have done differently. Some questions I would have asked. How do you envision using the kitchen? Do you intend to host gatherings, family and friends over for the holidays? Are you going to have multiple people cooking? Or is your sanctuary for you and only you? These questions determine layout. They determine aisle width, island size. They determine whether you sacrifice some center cabinet space for an extra walkway space, or whether you add a beverage station off to the side that reduces traffic in the walkways. Considering these questions, the final design could have almost looked exactly the same. Same colors, same style, same hardware, but with adjustments that would have made it actually work for her life. Having the most beautiful kitchen without these additional questions, that kitchen is best served just in a magazine. If your designer jumps straight into cabinet colors and countertop samples without asking how you cook, how you entertain, how many people are typically in your kitchen at once, they're designing for their portfolio, not your daily life. Red flag number 2, they do not collaborate with your contractor. Your designer and your contractor don't have to talk to each other, and that silence is going to cost you in ways you won't see coming until it's too late. The designer needs to be the nucleus of your project. There's an important collaboration that takes place between the designer and your contractor. Many details in a design are very specific and intentional. They may require a little bit of extra work from your contractor, but the outcome is worth it. And that's why it's important that you and your contractor and designer work collectively. This works best when the designer works with contractors they have experience with. They understand the nuances that are included in every detail of the design. Nothing gets overlooked. No shortcuts are taken. No compromises are made. The most subtle detail, oftentimes the most distinctive feature that separates a great design from an okay design. It might be something as simple as a transition panel sticking out 3/4 of an inch past the face frame of the cabinet. It could be a trim piece placed on the opposite side of a cabinet, which affects the balance of the lines and the symmetry of the entire kitchen. While the final product may still be functioning, the beauty of the finished product is compromised when you're dealing with contractors who aren't familiar with these types of details. Homeowners who have selected their own contractors often experience these shortcuts. Crown molding installed incorrectly, trim pieces that aren't scribed to the wall, improper use of intended materials. All this leads to wasted money. And then there's the change orders. What most people don't understand about change orders is that they have a cost. A change order can always be done on the fly. Trying to make changes while the project is in process is complicated. It adds delays, and most importantly, this typically happens when you don't have solid planning and your designer hasn't collaborated enough with your contractor to make sure you understand the intent of the design and how it should be executed. If your designer hands you a plan and says, "Good luck finding a contractor," you're about to become a project manager between two people who don't speak the same language. and you will pay for that in change orders, delays, and compromises you never saw coming. Red flag number 3. They rush your timeline without warning you about long lead times. Promise you'd be cooking by Thanksgiving dinner in your new kitchen, but nobody told you the cabinets you chose take 5 months to arrive. Cabinetry can oftentimes feel like playing Tetris, like you're just putting a bunch of boxes together in a specific space. What people don't understand is the combination of those boxes in connection with the form, the accessories, the time frame you have. When you add the additional variables, it's not only about putting the proper boxes in the proper space, it's about the timing. Can I get the cabinets in the color that I want, in the space that I want, in the style that I want, with the accessories that I want, in the time frame that I want it in? This is where most people misjudge what actually takes to pull off all these variables together. The most popular styles and finishes are readily available, but they may not be available in the specific size you want. Base cabinets typically come in 9, 12, 15-inch increments. Off-the-shelf cabinets may only come in a couple of variations. And those 3 inches between that might not sound like a big deal, but it could be a very big deal. That 3 inches turns into a filler space. Custom cabinetry means getting that dog feeding station into the toe kick, getting the storage in the toe kick, getting the glass front on the doors and interior lighting you wanted. Custom cabinets means getting the size you want, not to have compromises with fillers. The decisions homeowners typically underestimate is pulling those combinations of features, colors, style, and time all together. The best kitchens do take time. They take a lot of consideration and they take a lot of patience. That typically starts 3 to 4 months before the design phase. And it's a lot of back and forth. You may have your favorite cabinet in your favorite color. You might not be able to get the exact size or with the exact accessory. A designer will help you expedite through that process. It's important you have that option to make that choice. We don't want a situation where the option is taken away from you because there was a lack of planning or you've run out of time. Here's the regret language I hear constantly. I wish I would have had the cabinet that was just 3 inches wider that could fit that serving tray. I wish I would have had that storage in the toe kick. I wish I would have had time to wait for the additional options. You're making a big investment. When you find yourself already committed with a deadline in mind, but you can't get all the options, you start looking at what needs to be compromised. And that compromising is what you'll remember for the rest of your life with that kitchen. Before you commit to any designer, ask them 3 things. What questions do you ask about how I actually use my kitchen before we talk about finishes? Do you have trusted contractors you collaborate with regularly? And what is a realistic timeline for the kitchen I'm envisioning given the lead times involved? Those 3 questions will tell you everything you need to know about whether your designer is focused on your portfolio or your daily life. If you're in the Mid-Atlantic region, including Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and you want to work with a team that starts with those questions, the link to our discovery consultation is in the description. What the right designer actually looks like. So how do you know you found the right designer? Here are the green flags that tell you someone is focused on your life, not your portfolio. First and foremost, the designer is going to tell you something you don't want to hear, and that's the cold, hard reality. They may tell you it's unrealistic you're going to get your kitchen done by the big holiday you had envisioned, whether that's Thanksgiving, Christmas, a graduation party. Most of the time, homeowners have taken too long to engage a designer, and we've run out of time. A good designer is going to be truthful, and that could be painful. It could trigger that cognitive dissonance where you feel like you've done your research and you know better. And instead of being willing to hear it, you may go try and find your answer somewhere else. Get the designer involved early so you can avoid that feeling. Green flag 1, they tell you the truth even when it's painful. Green flag 2, they ask better questions before they show you a single cabinet sample. How do you cook? How do you start your morning? Where does the clutter tend to build up? What frustrates you most about your current space? Green flag 3, they have trusted contractors they collaborate with regularly. When your designer and contractor have worked together before, nothing gets overlooked and no shortcuts are taken. Green flag 4, they give you the time to reflect rather than pressure to commit. The best kitchens take 3 to 4 months in the design phase. That's not wasted time. That's where you discover what's actually possible and make choices you'll be proud of for decades. Unfortunately, in the construction world, the bar is set pretty low. When you know a design worked well, it's when the execution went flawlessly. When A came before B, B came before C. Proper planning, proper timing, no reworks, no change orders that didn't need to happen. That's what a great design first partner delivers. The difference between a kitchen you show off and a kitchen you want to live in comes down to the questions your designer asks before they even show you a sample. Function before finishes, lifestyle before layout, truth before timelines. Find a partner who starts there and the rest follows. If this video changed how you're thinking about finding the right design partner, there's one more I want you to watch before you take the next step. It's called Why Most Kitchen Renovations Fail Before Demo Day. It goes deeper into the planning methodology that separates kitchens people love from kitchens that quietly frustrate them every single day. I'll link it right here. Go watch it. I'll see you there.